All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep into Bitcoin.
Sounds good.
It's been climbing like crazy lately.
Yeah.
Up 61% since October.
Really something.
Almost hitting $100,000.
Wow.
But we're going way beyond just the price today.
Okay.
We've got some great analysis from CryptoQuant.
All right.
And some news from Crypto on Chain about Bitcoin exchange activity.
Cool.
Let's see what's really going on.
Absolutely.
When I first saw those price jumps, I have to admit I was a little skeptical.
Really?
But then I started reading about this realized price.
Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating concept.
It really changed how I was thinking about things.
Interesting.
So-
Well, realized price, you see, it's basically the average price that all the Bitcoin out there was bought at.
Okay.
Like, imagine the average cost basis
Yeah.
for every single Bitcoin holder.
I see.
It gives us a peek into how the market really feels.
Okay.
And how much value investors have actually locked in.
So how much can we really trust this number?
That's a good question.
I mean, Bitcoin's a wild market.
Yeah, true.
No metric's perfect, right?
You got it.
So-
But realized price, it really helps us
Okay.
understand the value of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
like cutting through all the noise and
Yeah.
the speculation.
Okay.
But here's the really interesting part.
Lay it on me.
Bitcoin was skyrocketing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yay.
But its realized price, it barely moved.
What do you mean?
It only went up, like
Yeah.
from around 31,000
Okay.
to 32,000,
All right.
up to $37,000.
So a pretty big gap.
Yeah, and usually you see that kind of gap, it means the market's getting a little too hot. More hype than real value.
Yeah. So are you saying this whole rally is like built on nothing?
Well,
Not necessarily.
because we've seen this before
Really?
during other Bitcoin bull runs.
Mhm.
And a lot of times the price kept going up.
So those big price jumps, they were like,
Okay, for the long term.
totally.
Huh.
Bitcoin bull markets, they often have these fast price jumps.
So even with this gap, we could still keep going up.
It's definitely possible.
Wow.
For example,
Yeah.
the bull run back in, let's say,
Yeah.
insert specific year of a previous bull run with a similar pattern,
Okay.
we saw the same kind of gap.
Uh-huh.
But the price, it kept climbing for months
Wow.
before anything happened.
Wow.
Of course, things were different back then.
Right.
The economy,
Yeah.
And so many things affect the market.
That's true.
But still,
So how should we think about what's happening right now then?
good question.
Is this the same old Bitcoin or is something different going on? I'm dying to know what happens next.
Well,
Oh, and before we move on,
yeah.
you wouldn't believe this.
What is it?
Remember that crypto on-chain news?
Yeah.
Well, get this.
Okay.
There's been a massive outflow of Bitcoin
Really?
from exchanges,
Hmm.
the biggest since December 2022. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of Bitcoin,
Makes you think, right?
for sure.
It's like people are saying,
Yeah.
I'll hold on to this
Right.
no matter what.
Exactly.
So,
And that confidence,
Ah.
it adds another piece to this whole puzzle.
you mean with the
Yep.
price and the realized price?
Exactly. So
Okay.
could this be a sign that
Yeah.
Bitcoin's growing up a little?
Like becoming more than just
Yeah.
a way to make a quick buck.
It's possible.
Interesting.
Maybe people are starting to see it as a
Yeah.
real store of value
Mm.
instead of just something to trade.
So they're not worried about this gap
Right.
because they think Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot
Mhm.
in the long run.
Exactly.
I see.
This move to,
Yeah.
cold storage.
Those super secure wallets.
Yeah.
It's like they're really committed.
It shows a lot of conviction
Yeah.
that goes beyond just,
Right.
the ups and downs of the market.
Okay, so we've got rising prices. Yeah. This gap with realized price and people moving their Bitcoin like crazy.
It's exciting, right?
Like a movie.
Sometimes it feels that way.
But what does it all mean?
That's the question, isn't it?
For someone who's like listening to this and thinking,
Right.
Bitcoin,
It's tempting, isn't it?
maybe I should get in on this.
Well, history gives us some clues,
Okay.
but the Bitcoin market,
Yeah.
it's always changing.
True.
The economy, regulations,
Yeah.
investor sentiment, it's all a factor.
So many things to think about.
It keeps things interesting.
For sure.
And remember what happened in the past.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't always predict the future.
Right. Like
Yeah.
they say history rhymes.
Exactly.
It doesn't repeat.
So,
What's Bitcoin doing right now?
let's see. As of right now,
Yeah.
it's at $96,468.
A little dip today,
A little bit, yeah.
but still way up over the last month.
38.22% to be exact.
Wow. And Bitcoin's still The king of the crypto hill.
The king, definitely. It's got a market cap of $1.91 trillion.
Wow.
It's 55.9%.
Of the whole market.
The whole crypto market.
It's incredible.
It's amazing how much influence it has.
So we've learned about how realized price.
Yeah.
It helps us understand these crazy price swings.
It puts things in perspective.
And we've seen how people moving their Bitcoin, it can tell us a lot.
It gives us a peek
about what investors are thinking.
Exactly.
Feels like we've really gone under the hood today.
Yeah.
Not just looking at the surface.
It's always more complicated than it looks.
Right. And for someone who's listening to all this, maybe they're thinking about trying out Bitcoin themselves.
I can see one.
What's the one big takeaway?
Well, the Bitcoin market.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but it's tricky too.
For sure.
We can learn from what happened before.
Okay.
But things are always changing.
Right. It's like that saying, history rhymes, it doesn't repeat.
Exactly. So stay curious. Keep learning about it. And do your own research.
That's important.
Especially before you invest.
Makes sense.
It's a dynamic market.
Absolutely. So before we go, give us something to think about.
Okay.
One big idea to take away from all this.
We've talked a lot about price and realized price and what's happening on exchanges.
Yeah.
But what really gives Bitcoin its value?
That's a good question.
Is it just hype?
Right.
Or is it something more? Like its decentralized nature.
Okay.
Maybe it's a way to change finance.
Interesting.
Or maybe it's protection against inflation.
Those are some big questions.
Worth thinking about.
Definitely. Well, that wraps up our Bitcoin deep dive.
It's been fun.
But the conversation's not over.
Of course not.
Keep those questions coming.
Yeah. Keep learning.
Keep diving deep, everyone.
That's what it's all about.